Who wants $100? I know I do. But how much is $100 worth? Would you agree $100 in 1978 is not worth the same as $100 in 2016? I bet you answered yes. Inflation has changed a lot of things. Would you also agree that the cost of living has increased from 1978 to 2016? I bet you answered yes to that one too. Now, that same $100 in 1978 is roughly worth $363 here in 2016. So I want you to do me a favor. I want you to stop me when I get too high. $2.65, $2.90, $3.10, $3.35, $3.80, $4.25, $4.75, $5.15, $5.85, $6.55, $7.25. I bet you didn't say stop. That's right. The government has required a minimum wage, and over the last 38 years, those have been the minimum wages. Now, the last rate increase was in 2009 to make the minimum wage $7.25. So the minimum wage is the lowest amount that you must be paid by hour. But is a minimum wage a livable wage? We all know inflation has gone up since 1978, and the cost of living has gone up since 1978. If we take those percentages of the cost of living and inflation, starting at $2.65, today that $2.65 should be $9.32. So what I think we need to do is change our minimum wage to a cost of living wage. Now, the government requires you to be paid at least a minimum of $7.25. States can change that and add extra money to that. Florida's current minimum wage is $8.05. Michigan's is $8.50. New York's is $9. And California is currently at $10. Though Emerville, California is a city, and their minimum wage is $14.33. So, we need to tweak our minimum wages roughly every 3 years. We need to add a buffer in there, because we can only know what we've done previously. We can't kind of predict the future on what things are going to cost and how we need to live in the future. So we kind of have to build in a buffer. So maybe our inflation rate will go down because of this buffer. Maybe the cost of living will go down. So let's take a look. I'm going to talk about Bob. Bob currently works in 2016. He's making minimum wage. He makes $7.25. According to our inflation numbers and our cost of living numbers, he should be making $9.32 to survive. $2 less than what he's making. Over the course of a year, he is now $4,000 in debt. He works, he does what he's supposed to do, and yet now he's $4,000 in debt because our minimum wage is not our livable wage. Now, I'm not saying our livable wage should be $15 like some people ask, but it does need to be addressed as a livable wage realistically, and adjusted every couple of years. Now, a kid who is 16 years old, who's got their first job, who's living at home, probably doesn't need to make $15 an hour either. So what do we need to do? We need to change our minimum wage to a livable wage. Let's increase it so we can actually live, not just become farther in debt. Let's not be like Bob. Thank you. I'm Brian Stack.